candles. So let's take a look here. So basically, now rejections happen when price reaches a strong support or a resistance. This is like the example. This is like the example we had in the previous example where price went up to resistance, and then the candle closed bearish, and then we start to go down. So all these examples are almost the same. The examples are all almost the same, right? So now if you look at here, the higher the time frame, stronger the zone. This is when we go back to the apartment complex example where we talked about how you have an apartment complex and you have different levels there, and different levels are stronger. So the weekly is stronger. Now the 1 hour is stronger than the 30-minute, 4 hours stronger than the 1 hour, and daily is stronger than a 4 hour, so on and so forth. So never sell when price is moving towards the resistance. Never ever do that. Never buy when price is moving towards support. It's really good to have like a wick entry and show off to your friends who don't really care about what you do, or it's really good to have that wick entry and post it on Instagram to people who don't really benefit you in any way. It's always going to hurt you. Whenever price is moving to a support and you want to take a buy just because you could have a wick entry, stop it. Don't do that. I used to do that, and most of the times it didn't work. Always wait for candles to flip in your direction. Always wait for candles to flip in your direction. 15-minute is risky. 30-minute is less risky. Trading in general is risky, but we only trade based on good probabilities. Right, so 15-minute, I think as you guys start watching the charts from a new perspective after we're done today, you're going to start to have a newfound respect for candles. You're going to have a new respect for 15-minute being risky time frame, 30-minute being less risky time frame, and so on and so forth. Lower time frame has a lower probability of moving in your direction. I've been saying this over and over and over again, right? High time frame has a higher probability of moving in your direction. So get a tramp stamp, get a tattoo, put it down in lower time frames. Don't base your trades off of lower time frame analysis unless you are experienced enough, unless you've seen things happen over and over again. It's very, very important. Let's take a look at some examples here. Now, when we're looking at this, what do we see here? What do we see here? First thing we see here is, candles are going bearish, right? Whenever candles go bearish, they go bearish from a support. So, resistance. So we have a resistance here. Now, notice how I'm not plotting my resistance like this. I'm not plotting it like this. I'm plotting the resistance let me just do it again. I'm plotting the resistance kind of like this. Like I'm including some wicks. Like a ballpark value. Like it's very neat. It looks very neat here. So now this is it. And now when we look down here, maybe price came down to some sort of a support zone. It came down to a support zone. So what are we looking at? Let's say if this is a big range, 40, 50 pip range. So that's what we look. So let's see here so we can't take a sell here because we're potentially down to a support. We can't take a buy here because candles are bearish. So we're just like, yeah, whatever. Okay, this candle closed with no wick at the bottom. See this? Now we're getting these examples here, right? Candle closing with no wick at the bottom, so we don't know what the hell is happening here. Over here, we can also see this candle closed with no wick at the bottom. It just went up, whatever. We're just focused on right over here. And the next candle closed bullish. We have a candle closing bullish, right, at support. If this is a 30-minute or the 1 hour support, someone can say, well, it hasn't really broken the high of the previous candle, but it still seems like it can go up. Someone can say it seems like it can go up. Like, when you really twitch your eyes really close, you're like, it seems like it can go up, but it's a small body. There's a rejection here, so might want to wait a little bit. But what's the bias? I want to know the bias. What's the bias here? Bias. Okay. Bearish. Someone said bearish. The candle closed bullish at support. So the bias can't be bearish. The bias is bullish, but not 100%, not like 80%. It's like less bullish, you know, like it's less bullish. Ooh, wow. Yeah, it did go up. It did go up. So now can we take a buy? Maybe, you know, like a wick fill? Probably we could get a wick fill. Maybe we missed this trade. Let's see what happens. Oh, nice. Wick fill. And then probably it's going to continue moving. Oh, that's it. Yeah, wick fill. So bias was bullish. I think this was a very difficult this was a difficult confirmation here. This is a very hard confirmation here because, you know, the candle body was kind of like meh. It didn't really break the highs over here, but eventually it did reject here. I think the other thing is that since this candle closed with no wick at the bottom, this told us that, okay, there's no bearish confirmation here because that bearish candle didn't even have a wick at the bottom. And the next bullish candle tried going down, but it couldn't go down. So now the next candle, it was maybe, yeah, someone just said something very nice. Miles said that maybe we could have reduced our risk. That's very important. As you go along, you will feel that, you know, some trade setups are going to have a very high probability, and some trade setups are going to have very low probability. So at that point, you will have to decide, okay, if something has a low probability, something like this here, right, might want to reduce the risk a little bit. You know, might reduce the risk and take the trade so that if it runs, you feel good about it. You know, but if it goes down, then you're like, okay, whatever, it got stopped out, but I risked something less. Why do wicks must get filled? Wicks get filled when price is in momentum. That's why wicks get filled. Like, this candle had no wick, price didn't go down. This candle has a wick. Wicks basically mean, like, you know, when you watch cartoons, and in cartoons, when the cartoon character, it's dark and they go in a maze, and then when they go in a maze, they leave breadcrumbs. You know, they leave breadcrumbs for their friends to follow the breadcrumbs, and then they can find the guy. So wicks are like breadcrumbs. You know, when price is moving bullish and you have, are they unfilled orders? I don't know. That's an advanced concept. So when you have a wick over here, this means price has left breadcrumbs for the next candle to fulfill. You know, so if this wick is going to get filled, candle has to respect the low of the previous candle, which is going to be, it has to move bullish, right? Which it went bullish to almost fill the wick. And then it went higher, right? So wicks are known as destinations too. You know, if price moves up, it's like a destination. So, oh, let me just remove these here. All right. What's happening at this point? We are support formed. That's true. We have a support formed. Kind of like looks like a downtrend. Maybe, you know, like maybe price was coming down from this area here. So yeah, this is someone saying bearish, someone saying support formed. See what happens here. Oh, we're going up. We're going up to that same area there. We're closing, a candle is closing like this. We can't take a buy at this point because we're at some sort of a resistance area. We can't take a sell. Essentially, price did make a low. We can't take a sell because there's no confirmation to take a sell. Now we have a candle closing like this. It's creating a lower high and a lower low, you know. So someone is saying we'll take a sell with a lower risk. Someone is saying that we'll take a sell and the stop loss is going to be above the previous candle with a lower risk. So what's going to be the bias here? Take a sell, no wick to the upside. Okay. See what happens here. Nice. Perfect. See? Now someone is saying, oh, someone said, okay, full margin sells. Yeah, so see now, the conservative party was like, well, this candle is bearish, but we want to be careful. Now they're saying, okay, perfect. Now the conservatives are becoming liberals now. They want to like, okay, perfect. Let's take a sell over here. So for this to continue down, now here's the thing. When price is going to continue bearish, it has to make lower highs and lower lows. Moga Lifestyle says he's selling now, so makes sense. Let's take a look here. Perfect. Awesome. This is picture perfect sells. This is like you won a trade, you know, but like not actually won a trade, but it actually worked out. Price respected support as well. Exactly. You know, it respected support as well. You know, so it was pretty good. Yeah, this was like the trade on GJ when the week closed. Oh wow! So runner kept running here. Beautiful. Perfect. And it continued going. All right, let's move to the next example here. So, what's going on here? We have farmed. All right, let me get my. Okay, man, my computer is getting slow over here. It's my computer is getting tired. Okay, I guess we're just ranging here, right? Yeah, we're just ranging here. Downtrend, lower high formed, yeah, downtrend. Kind of like a resistance formed over here. Don't really know what's going on. Can't take a sell because support's right there. Can't take a buy. This is how I approach trading. You know, whenever you're looking at whenever you're looking at the chart, you always ask yourself. Now, if we're looking at this chart, I always ask myself, can I take a sell? I can't take a sell because the support's right there. I can't take a buy because candles are bearish. So there's no trade. So basically I'm waiting right now. Oh, come on, man, move. Okay. Perfect. Now we have a candle closing bullish, but at the same time, candle is at this resistance area here as well. And I guess after we cross this resistance area, there's going to be a clean move going up to this area. Make sense? Makes sense. Oh, see, this is why we didn't buy over here. We're waiting. Oh, wow, perfect. We're breaking up right now. Now what's going on? Nice. So there's someone's taking a buys. What exactly do you mean by clean move? Okay, what I mean by clean move is when you're looking left to see that we had a clean move coming down, right? Whenever you have a clean move coming down like this, candles are more prone to repeat that clean move going up. This is what I mean by clean move. Whenever to the left you see there was a clean move, then there's a high chance candles will mirror that move. That's what basically it means. Someone's waiting, and someone's waiting for a retest. Oh, shit. Wow, that was uncalled for. That candle just came out of nowhere. Basically, what's going on over here is now since we missed this buy, right? Since this buy was missed, could we have taken a buy with a lower risk? Yes, we could have taken a buy with a lower risk. So let me just go back here. Okay, perfect. So one thing is this was the breakout candle. You know, one thing what I've noticed is I haven't really back tested this enough to say for sure, but what I've noticed is that whenever you have a candle that breaks out of a resistance, there's a very less chance that the preceding candles are going to break the low of that breakout candle. Make sense? So this is the breakout candle. You know, so there's a very less chance the next candles will break the low of the breakout candle. You know, so I think if I was trading this in a live environment, I would have taken a buy with a lower risk. because, if this was something like GJ or gold, normally they don't do retest. Normally they just keep on running, so maybe a lower risk would have worked. Wait for a retest in these situations or have a buy stop. See, that's something we don't know. Someone is asking, should we use a buy stop or a retest? We don't know that. It is what it is. Sometimes you wait for a retest, and while you're waiting for a retest, you have a big candle just prints on the chart like this, and you're like, wow, it was just didn't really know what to do. So that's something very important. Sometimes price just moves the way it wants to move. Sometimes it's going to do a retest. In the previous examples, we've been looking at a lot of charts and we saw that charts did retests, but in some examples, we saw price just kept on moving like this. So when this happens, this will happen to you over and over again, right? And, okay, what's this? Would you have bought for the fact that it closed back in that zone and above the other candles to the left? Yes. Yes, exactly. So I've seen this happen over and over again, and slowly I've been training my mind to take a buy at the breakout candle, because sometimes there will be no retest. So when there will be no retest, I want to get in on that trade. Okay. In the lower time frame, yeah, could have been a retest on a lower time frame. So let's continue on here. Let me just grab my eraser and remove this. And let's move on to the next man. My zoom is getting really slow. Wow. Holy cow. All right. Ooh, what's going on over here? We have a resistance forming right over here, right? We have a resistance forming here, and we have some sort of a support forming here, right? There was a gap over here. There was a gap, price gapped above this area, kind of forming a support, kind of forming a resistance. So we're kind of waiting right now. Waiting right now for some confirmations here. All right, candle is closing above this area. Perfect. This is what happened in the last example here too, right? This has happened in the last example here too. Now here either you can take a buy with a, I'd say like a lower risk, because it's a breakout candle. It could kind of like, come down and like retest, or it could continue moving up. We don't know. So we have to wait for either someone's going to wait for a retest or someone's going to take a buy with a lower risk because it's a breakout candle. So let's see what the next candle does. Perfect. Made sense. Made sense. See now the next the previous example, same thing happened. We missed the buy. And this is going to happen over and over again. Over and over again, you will miss trades. And as you miss trades, you will try to train your mind to see, okay, how could I have caught this trade, even with the lower risk? So I think this was a really good example where you saw that, okay, price broke above resistance. This is a breakout candle. It's making higher highs, higher lows. What are the chances that the previous example can play out again without a retest? You could say, man, there's still a chance it could happen. So you might want to take a lower risk trade. And you take a lower risk trade and it runs, you're like, perfect. It happened. Right? So let's wait to see what the next candle does. Next candle comes down. Someone who's waiting for a retest. So this is where you're getting your retest here for a continuation up. A candle is closing bullish like this. Was that actually a retest wick? Yes. Yes, Joe Alexander. That was kind of like a retest wick. But this buy was just based on the fact that we saw this happen previously, so we anticipated it to happen again here as well. So let's see what happens after this candle. Thank you for all this paper trading, Raja, making us more confident at executing. That's it. It's just practice. Honestly, it's just doing the same things over and over and over and over again to the point where you start dreaming about it. Man, the other night I was dreaming about we were in in a storm, we were in a ship, we were sailing with some cargo, that cargo had our money in it, and we were moving from coast to coast, and all of a sudden this wave comes on, and this wave has a bullish candle going up, and we're like, oh, such a bullish candle over here. We have to wait for a retest so we can go around the candles. And the retest came, candles came down, and I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just you start seeing those things in your dreams too. So, yeah, see, retest. This was a retest. So candle closed bullish, and you took a buy, and candle went up. Perfect retest. So we waited here, someone took buys here, and then we had a bearish candle come down, and then we had a bullish candle formed, creating support on the 1 hour, and if it broke above resistance, there's a high probability that the next candle is going to go up. And the only wet dreams. And the only reason the next candle is going to go up if it respects the low of the previous candle, right? So it starts to go up. And also understand this. This only happens when there's volume in the market. When markets open, when markets are closing, I think after news events, when the markets are open, when the markets are rocking and rolling, this only happens at that time. It's not going to happen in the afternoon of New York session. It's not going to happen after, like let's say, once the Asian movement is done. It's not going to happen before pre-London. It's only going to happen when there's volume in the market. Oh yeah, see, it's continued moving up, and then it did what it had to do. What's that now retest you're talking about? Oh, this retest right here. Price went up. I'm trying to get my marker here. Price went up after breaking this resistance. Candle came down to do a retest. This candle closed bullish. Hence a support has been formed, and we've broken above. So break, retest, support formed. What's the probability of the next candle to continue going up? Since it broke out of resistance, someone can say, I think it's a pretty high probability. So you're like, okay, perfect. If I'm going to take a buy, I'll leave my stop below the candle right over here, and I'm going to anticipate the next price to continue moving bullish, and then bearish, and then ranging. Raja, do you wait for retest with the same time frame, or do you usually look for on a lower time frame? It all depends. It all depends. I wait for it. It basically depends what's happening in the market, but this is exactly what I wait for. Ted Monty and trade only zones. I mean, this is the only way to trade. I mean, you draw your zones, you draw support, and then you just see how price is reacting to that, and you basically take a trade on that. Okay, let's go to the next example here. All right. This looks like it's very, very difficult. Did you try another trading style? I tried. Okay, so we're going to answer these questions in the end. We're approaching the end of this webinar here. So right now, this is extremely difficult. There's no sense of what's happening here. Let's take a look at the next candle. Ooh, next candle went bullish. See, next candle went bullish. It broke the low of the previous candle, so it didn't respect the high thing. It also created no wick at the top. So far there's no trade. We can't take a buy because candle has no wick on the top. We can't take a sell because candle is bullish. So we're waiting for the next candle to form. Lovely. Next candle forms bullish. We can't do anything either. Wow, next candle goes more bullish. Wow, well, so far I think we missed a trade. Now candle is forming bearish. Yeah, I don't know, man. Looks like it's creating a high over there. Looks like it's creating a high to continue to go up. I mean, it's very difficult here. Still waiting. Candle's closing bearish here. Wow. Yeah, I would have missed that trade. Oh, candle's closing some sort of a bullish candle here. We're getting some sort of information here that maybe this little downtrend is exhausting, and we might see a support forming over here. If I see a support forming it, okay, what's going on over here now? What are we doing? Someone said buys. Buys above the break of the wick. We're not talking about the buys above the break of the wicks or anything like that. We're just talking about what's happening currently right now. Currently right now, if you take a buy, okay, here's the thing. If your bias is buys, let me talk about when guys say, okay, let's take a buy above the wick. If your bias is buys, right, you know your stop is going to be right over here, below the low of the candle. If you take a buy over here, this is your stop loss. If you take a buy over here, your stop loss is huge, man. That's a really big stop loss, right? So price broke above this resistance. Where is the resistance? Okay, so price broke above this resistance. Come on, man. Okay, and then price went up, created a high, came down, created a support based on everything that we've learned in the past 5 hours. It indicates that this will be a good opportunity to take a buy because price is creating a support. There's a high formed. What's the probability? Okay, what's the probability price is going to go up? What's the probability price is going to go up? Is it high or low? 80%. Someone said high. You know, it's pretty high. So there's no reason to overthink things. When you start overthinking things, that's when you know it gets pretty hard. You know, so let's see. See, you took a buy, candle went up. Candle went up, now you're securing profits. You know, you rode this 130-minute candle all the way up over here. You're securing profits, you're putting stops at break even, you're doing all those things to secure yourself because next candle can continue going up as well. You know, let's see here. Oh, next candle started going bearish. You know, so you secured profits and now you have a runner and you're like, okay, maybe now I want to close the runner or whatever because wow, price just went down. You know, so it's very important. The first candle closing, there's a higher chance for the next candle to continue moving bullish. That's what we've learned in the last 5 hours here. Perfect. So the next topic we have